December is not just another month turning on the calendar. It is a divine moment designed by God to bring closure, alignment, and fulfillment. It carries a spiritual weight that many people ignore, but those who are sensitive in prayer understand that this time is loaded with purpose. It is a season when heaven presses pause on chaos and declares order, when God steps into your unfinished stories and writes the final line with authority. What was delayed, denied, or misunderstood throughout the year does not get to follow you into the next one unless God allows it. This is a period when God brings clarity. Where there was confusion and peace, where there was pressure, it is the month when destiny is straightened out and burdens are dropped off before you cross into a new season. Throughout the year, life has presented battles, unexpected storms, silent tears, and questions without answers. There were times you felt like you were moving but not arriving, praying but not seeing, believing but not receiving. Yet December comes as a reminder that God is not finished with you yet. What looks incomplete in your eyes is not abandoned in God's hands. Every prayer you whispered during the night, every tear you wiped away in private, and every hope you held onto in weakness has been recorded in heaven. December is when God responds not just with promises, but with performance. It is not just a season of expectation. It is a season of manifestation. This is the moment when God corrects directions without destroying destiny. Maybe you took paths you regret. Maybe you made decisions you wish you could undo. But December is not here to judge you. It is here to realign you. God specializes in recovery. He can take what was wasted and turn it into testimony. He can take what was broken and make it beautiful. He can take what was delayed and suddenly release it at the right moment. Nothing about your life is too far gone for God's hands. December is God's reset button, not a restart of pain, but a reorder for purpose. There are battles that followed you month after month. Same struggle, different day. Same frustration, new calendar page. But this is the season when God draws a line in the sand and says, this ends here. Some cycles were never meant to repeat. Some pain was never meant to follow you forever. December becomes the divine interruption when what tried to stick to you all year is stripped away. Fear does not go into the new year with you. Doubt does not get packed with your future. Failure does not get a reservation in your destiny. This is the moment when God closes doors you were too weak to shut yourself. Completion does not always look loud. Sometimes it looks like quiet peace after loud battles. Sometimes it looks like rest after relentless pressure. Sometimes it looks like wisdom after confusion. God does not just close the year, He seals it. He wraps up loose ends in your soul. He heals things you never spoke about. He mends wounds you learned to hide. And one day you wake up and realize it does not hurt the same anymore. You can breathe again. You can believe again. That is when you know December has done its holy work in you. God completes not only circumstances, but also people. You are not the same person you were in January. You may not see it yet, but you have grown in strength, endurance, and understanding. You carry wisdom you did not have before. You have survived things you thought would break you. December stands as evidence that you made it through seasons that were designed to defeat you. You are not lucky. You are preserved. You are not forgotten. You are protected. You are not delayed. You are being prepared. When God finishes a chapter, He does not leave empty pages. He prepares new ones. December is not about endings only. It is about beginnings hidden inside closures. God closes broken doors to guide you toward better ones. He removes distractions to reveal direction. He silences noise to sharpen vision. Many goodbyes this month are actually divine protection disguised as loss. What leaves your life now makes room for what truly belongs there next. So when you pray in December, you are not begging, you are agreeing, you are aligning your faith with heaven's timing. You are declaring that this year does not define your destiny, but it shaped your strength. You are standing at the doorway between what tried to destroy you and what God is about to deliver. And God does not leave His people unfinished. When He starts something, He completes it. When He promises something, He performs it. December is proof that you are still in God's hands, and what God holds, He finishes with glory. Healing does not always happen in a moment. Sometimes it unfolds in layers, and often the deepest healing is the kind nobody sees. Emotional pain can be quiet, hidden behind smiles, productivity, and laughter that feels forced. Many people carry wounds that were never treated because they learned how to survive instead of how to heal. This prayer speaks directly into that silent war taking place inside the heart and mind. It acknowledges that strength is not the absence of pain, but the choice to face it. And faith is not pretending everything is fine, but trusting God when everything feels fragile. Renewal begins when we stop denying what hurts and start surrendering it to the one who can restore. There are memories that return when the room is quiet and voices that echo long after people have left. Regret, grief, disappointment, rejection, they stack up over time like invisible baggage, and eventually the weight becomes heavy enough to affect the way you think, love, trust, and believe. This prayer becomes a doorway out of emotional exhaustion. It invites God into the locked rooms of the heart where disappointment took shelter and gave bitterness a place to live. It reminds the hurting soul that God does not just see public victories, He sees private battles, and He responds with mercy, not judgment. Spiritual renewal begins when weariness meets truth. Many are not weak in faith. They are simply tired from fighting too long without rest. They have prayed for others while quietly falling apart themselves. They have encouraged others while feeling empty on the inside. This prayer acknowledges that exhaustion does not make you faithless. It makes you human, and God never demands strength from those who are already worn down. Instead, He supplies new strength. Renewal comes when God breathes into what feels lifeless and reminds you that your soul still has purpose, still has fire, still has direction, even if it has been buried under disappointment. When emotional healing starts, it is uncomfortable. Old tears surface, old questions rise, but God never exposes pain to shame you. He reveals it to remove it. Healing is not erasing memory, it is changing how memory controls you. The things that once broke you begin to lose. Finances are often where pressure hides the deepest because money problems are not just about numbers. They touch dignity, confidence, peace and stability. When provision is low, anxiety rises. When bills multiply, sleep disappears. When income is uncertain, fear becomes loud. This prayer steps directly into that vulnerable space and calls on God not just to provide, but to liberate. It invites heaven into the area where many feel ashamed to speak. The struggle they hide behind smiles and silence. Yet God has never been uncomfortable discussing needs. He is not offended by your lack. He is moved by your faith. And where faith reaches, provision follows. Breakthrough in finances does not begin in the wallet, it begins in the heart. This prayer challenges a mindset formed by fear and scarcity and replaces it with one built on trust and expectation. Many have been conditioned to believe that struggle is their destiny, that poverty is their identity, and hardship is their inheritance. But God's promises speak a different language. He does not position his people for survival. He positions them for overflow, not just in wealth, but in peace that money cannot buy. Financial breakthrough begins when you refuse to accept lack as normal and start believing God for more than just enough. Debt is one of the heaviest chains people carry. It limits choices, steals joy, and spreads pressure across every area of life. This prayer speaks freedom into that bondage. It declares that debt does not own you and struggle does not control your future. God is able to cancel burdens in ways you could never plan. He knows how to bring unexpected provision through ordinary moments. One opportunity, one call, one door opening at the right time can change everything. God does not need many resources to bless you. He only needs a willing heaven and a believing heart. Provision is not always instant, but it is always intentional. God knows what you need before you speak it, and sometimes he allows seasons of waiting to teach dependence, discipline, and direction. But waiting is not denial. Delay is not rejection. A closed door today may be protection, not punishment. This prayer realigns your heart to trust God's timing just as much as you trust his ability. It teaches you to thank him not only when the blessing arrives, but while it is being prepared. Faith that only trusts when it sees is not faith. Faith trusts even while the promise feels distant. This prayer also speaks to stewardship, understanding that God provides not just to bless you, but to build responsibility in you. When God increases you, he also refines you. He removes waste. He exposes misuse. He heals broken financial habits. True breakthrough is not just receiving money. It is learning how to manage what God releases into your hands. God is not interested in giving abundance to chaos. He brings order so you can handle increase. And when your mindset changes, your money responds. Unexpected blessings rarely come dressed like miracles. They often come through opportunities that look ordinary at first. A new connection, a skill you never valued, an idea that suddenly makes sense, a door you did not plan to walk through. God's provision is often disguised as responsibility, but this prayer awakens the eyes to recognize these moments as divine setups, not coincidence. When God provides, he does not always throw money from heaven. He creates pathways on earth. Fear around money builds walls between people and God. It causes hoarding instead of giving, anxiety instead of generosity. But this prayer invites freedom from that fear. It declares that God is your source, not your job, not the economy, not your past. Those are channels, not creators. And channels can change, but the source remains constant. When you shift your trust from systems to the Savior, peace replaces panic. You begin to rest even when numbers don't make sense, because your confidence is no longer in calculation, it is in covenant. Breakthrough also means restoration. What was stolen must be returned. What was lost will be replaced. What was wasted can be redeemed. God is a restorer of years, not just finances. He can compress time and return fruit faster than it was lost. This prayer believes for restoration not just in money, but in stability, opportunity, and joy. You will not spend your life recovering from what broke you. You will rise from it wiser and stronger. So when you pray for finances, you are not begging heaven, you are activating promises. You are standing in faith that says God is bigger than your balance and stronger than your struggle. And when he moves, it will not just change your bank account, it will change your understanding of provision forever. Physical pain has a way of reaching deeper than the body. It affects emotions, focus, faith, and even identity. When the body is weak, everything feels louder and heavier. This prayer steps into that fragile place and speaks with authority into sickness, fatigue, and suffering. It is not a medical report that defines your life, and it is not a diagnosis that declares your future. God has the final word, and his word brings life where pain tried to settle. Healing begins not just with treatment, but with belief that your body is still under divine authority. Many carry sickness silently, afraid of sounding weak or being a burden to others. But pain does not disappear because it is hidden. It grows louder in secrecy. This prayer invites you to bring your body honestly before God without shame or fear. God is not uncomfortable with your weakness. He is drawn to it. Healing is not proof of your perfection. It is evidence of his power. You do not have to be strong to receive healing. You only have to be willing. God meets people right where pain finds them. Some illnesses take away more than health. They try to steal joy, identity. When your body fails, the world can begin to shrink. Plans change, confidence drops, hope fades quietly. This prayer is a refusal to let sickness have the final word. It is a declaration that your life is more than pain and your future is not canceled. God did not create you to live trapped inside limitations. He created your body with intention, detail, and strength. Even when systems fail, God's design does not. He understands every cell, every nerve, every organ, because he formed them. Healing is often a process, but it always begins with agreement. Agreement that pain does not get authority over purpose. Agreement that disease does not define destiny. Agreement that the creator of the body still knows how to repair it. This prayer aligns your faith with heaven's will, sending a signal to your spirit that recovery is possible, restoration is real, and renewal is working even when you cannot see it yet. Pain will try to teach you that God has abandoned you. Healing teaches you that he never left. Sometimes God does not remove pain instantly, but he gives strength immediately. That strength sustains you while healing is happening beneath the surface. Healing is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like better sleep. Sometimes it feels like less pain than yesterday. Sometimes it shows as hope slowly returning. All healing counts, and nothing touched by God stays the same forever. This prayer also addresses fear, fear of results, fear of the future, fear of pain returning. Fear makes sickness heavier than it already is. It turns possibility into dread and rest into tension. But this prayer drives fear out with faith. God does not heal the body and forget the mind. He brings peace alongside power. Healing includes emotional comfort, not just physical change. When peace enters, pain loses authority. The body listens to words more than we realize. When you speak fear, the body tightens. When you speak faith, it relaxes. This prayer teaches the body to respond to hope instead of despair. It reminds your system that it was created to heal. God built recovery into your body. Bones grow stronger, wounds close, cells replace. Healing is not a fantasy, it is a built-in function of divine design. And when God commands it, the body obeys. Some have waited months, some have waited years. Pain tried to convince you that this is permanent. But this prayer interrupts that lie. Nothing is permanent when God is involved. Pain has an expiration date. Suffering has an ending. God does not forget people who are hurting. He hears every breath, every groan, every tear. Healing moments are not forgotten in heaven. God works in hidden hours and silent nights. This prayer also restores dignity. Sickness makes you feel small. Healing reminds you that you are valued. Pain humiliates. God restores honor. Your life is not reduced because your body is struggling. You still have worth. You still have purpose. You still matter. Healing is not just about feeling better. It is about remembering who you are. So even now, strength is being released into your body. Peace is settling into your mind. Power is rising in your spirit. And while the process may differ for each person, the promise remains the same. God is still the healer, and what he touches travels toward life.